Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Xbox Factor podcast, the only morning show that delivers 60 plus minutes of the hottest Xbox news all in one place. I'm your host, MrBooMStickXL, and my co-pilot on this adventure is none other than the showrunner of the Dragon X podcast, the Welsh Gamer. Welcome, dude.
I'm your co-pilot, and we are ready for takeoff.
Yes, we certainly are. And, when you do these shows, we do a script. Like most people who do YouTube and do live shows, you put topics in a list, you make a script, and then you go on it. Very rare occasions occur where we get literally breaking news minutes before the show is supposed to go live. And we have two pieces of that today. So first, we're going to start off with the Xbox Game Pass announcement for September. And I got to say, dude, we knew about one of the games, but what we didn't know was the rest of them. So I want to break down exactly what's being added for the month of September. And again, to be honest, it's a really stout list. To start off, it's Halo, the Master Chief Collection, which we all knew was coming. That, of course, is going to have all of the 4K 60 and HDR goodness that we were all promised. Quantum Break, Onrush, an incredible racing game. You have to download this and play this. Aven Colony, Shadow Warrior 1, Skyforce Reloaded, Snake Pass, Manual Samuel, and Guiana Sisters Twisted Dreams, as well as Inner Space. Now, some of the titles I've never heard of, some of the titles we've already played. And, what is your take on the games being added to Game Pass for September, dude?
My take is quite simple, and that is like, the more games they add, just forever adds. For every game they add, it just adds another reason to why Game Pass is an incredible service. But when it's incredibly good games and quite frankly underrated games which a lot of people might not have gotten a chance to play, like Quantum Break being a perfectly good example, I think it's amazing because, like, take Rise Son of Rome. Rise Son of Rome hit Games with Gold a few months back, and people have been singing its praises ever since, begging for a sequel. While I say to those people, too little too late, you should have bought the game day one, that's a different story. But now we have the same thing with Quantum Break. A lot of people bought into Quantum Break day one. Maybe not as many as Microsoft wanted, but a game like Quantum Break is now getting a second chance of growing some legs, and it might even aid in a sequel because it is in Microsoft's hands to put the money and the budget into a sequel, says, Remedy. So that's just one game. But when you've got all these other games to accommodate it, that Onrush game, I played the what do you call it? The preview. I played like a few hours trial on the preview, pretty much like an adult version of Mario Kart. It was quite funny. Very good, man. Like I said, like you can't beat just more options, more games added to the service. It's a successful service, but every game added is another reason added to subscribe to this incredible service.
I mean, look, let me just say this. The two standouts for me personally, well, actually, I'm sorry. The three standouts, the three real, gut punchers that when you look at this list, you say, okay, maybe I didn't play them yet. Maybe I'm new to Xbox. But you got Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Now, we have to understand there are 5 Halo games in there, 5 of them. And eventually, there's been talk about 343 going back and, doing the 4K goodness to Reach. That has been a rumor. It has been basically confirmed via multiple news sources that they're toying around with the idea. We obviously know that the Halo 6 isn't going to be out for quite some time. So Reach would be a good, drop in. So that's eventually going to get there. Onrush is by far one of the best racing games in 2018. Obviously, until Forza Horizon 4 comes out. But Onrush, I have put 50 plus hours into this game. It is addicting like crack. If you like MotorStorm on the PlayStation 3, which I think is one of the best racers ever made, you're going to love this because a lot of those devs worked on this game. And of course, Quantum Break, like you said it. Maybe a lot of people didn't play this game. It is absolutely 100% worth your time. It's Xbox One enhanced. It looks absolutely stunning. And you know what? To be honest, it is a fantastic game. It is worth your time. And then you have smaller titles, like Snake Pass. That fell out under the radar for a lot of people. That's a great puzzler. You know what I'm saying? Guyana Sisters is a great 2D, throwback classic. Some of the games that I don't know is Avon Colony. I've never heard of it. Shadow Warrior 1 is another fantastic title. Skyforce Reloaded. If you like the old, shooter type games, it's gonna fall right in your alley. So you're right. Once again, they put games in and they prove that the $9.99 that you're paying a month for this service is worth it in spades. So I just want to add, just before we move on to the second part of this topic, do you have anything else you want to add to the Game Pass madness?
Mate, literally, like, it's one of those topics that I could easily digest for long periods, because it just speaks volumes, like, about Microsoft and Xbox as a platform. But in a nutshell, just to keep it short and sweet so we can move on to the bread and butter, it's just an incredible service. And time and time again proves its worth. And it proves that Xbox is a very consumer-friendly and innovative company that comes up with these amazing ideas to accommodate the gamer, the budget hunter. And like I said a moment ago, with every added game is an added reason to subscribe, because the price hasn't changed, but you're getting more games.
Yep, absolutely. So we're on a high note right now, but unfortunately, we're going to have to drop it down a bit because 2 days ago, Games with Gold for September was announced. And I'm going to be honest, a good friend of the show, Saltiest Gaming, said something to me that made me chuckle for 10 minutes. He said, "Boom, if it's free, I'll take 3." And I just could not stop laughing. And you know what? For the most part, he's correct when he says it's free. You can't really, what could you complain about? But here's the thing. Games with Gold is a service that we pay for, right? It's included in our $60 a year that every one of us pays. Now, I don't have a problem paying the $60. What I have a problem with is up and down months that are like Jekyll and Hyde. Last month we had a fantastic lineup. This month, I'm going to be honest with you, I was a bit let down. Unfortunately, the one thing that kind of boils my blood with Microsoft is that they get stuck in patterns. And normally in the beginning of the fall year, whatever year that may be, their Games with Gold lineup has always been very poor. And this particular month in 2018 is no different. So let's break down what you're getting for your $60 a year for your 4 free games. First of all, you're getting Prison Architect, the Xbox One edition. Here's the thing. The game might be a good game. It's just not a game for me. I am not really into building simulators. I really am not a big fan of prisons. So, it just is not for me. The gem of this bunch is LiveLock. Now, I have yet to play it, but it has been compared, according to Wikipedia, as basically a Diablo 3 with guns. And that interests me because my wife and I are huge Diablo fans. We play for hours on end. And this looks to be a fantastic game. It's a single player, and it has couch co-op, and you can play online co-op, which is great. Then you have, for the backwards compatibility part of the 360, Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars. Again, it's a Lego game. It's going to be good. And then you have the poorest one, in my opinion, Monster World from the Sega Vintage Collection. Now, these games are, to me, other than LiveLock, which has not been out on the Xbox One as of yet, seem to be like the bottom of the barrel, if you will. Very old games, and to me, a big letdown. But I want to get your take on it, Welsh. What is your takeaway from this month's offerings?
If they're free, give me 4, mate. Screw you, Salty. No, I'm actually with Salty on this one, in the sense that, like, if it's free, take it as it is. But at the same time, I do like to play devil's advocate with this because I'm from a standpoint where games with gold isn't really my bag. Like it's very rare that I actually partake in downloading a game from games with gold. Like it really has to be like an exceptionally good title. Like the last one I downloaded would have been For Honor.
Yeah,
And
that's a good one. Yes.
I have had good fun with that. I have, and it was an excellent pickup. Like for for free, why the hell not? And this month, nothing on that list screams out to me. The only one that I'll probably download and play, and yes, the kid in me, but the Lego Star Wars game, because I used to play a lot of Lego games, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Avengers. I still play them pretty much once a week when I go to my girlfriend's cousin's house. Because he's young, and he likes to play these Lego games. I'll play 2-player with him. I do like those games, so I'll probably grab that one. But when it comes to this month's games of gold, if we're going to call a spade, there's nothing really eye-catching. Live Lock might be good. Prison Architect will definitely be a winner for like the Minecraft sort of kind of gamer. People who like to get their hands into the building side of it. People who might like The Sims or City Skylines or whatever. Like that's the kind of person who will be attracted to that. But like someone said in the chat, who was it? Somebody said, how can you go from, I can't remember what his name is, but someone did say in the chat a moment ago, how can you go from Forza Horizon 2 and Deep Space 3 to these shit titles?
Yeah.
And I do agree. I completely agree. But the way I see it, I think Microsoft have like a massive barrel of games which they need to distribute evenly over the course of 12 months. And I think some months they literally they look in that same barrel and the pickings are pretty slim and they're just like, we got to bite the bullet this month. These are the 4 ones we got. But then a couple months up the line, they'll get they'll get a bloody order in and they'll look in the barrel and there's bloody Deep Space 3 and Forza Horizon 2 and they're like, oh, thank the bloody Xbox gods we've got these games to give out. we can sleep easy this month, no hating. I think it is just luck of the draw on both ends because it's all down to like getting the rights to do it and being given the AOK by the developers of said games and stuff like that. But like again, I could rabbit on, but for me, I don't care personally. But for the people who do, just bite the bullet, wait another month, and something's probably going to be good on the other end of it. Because like you said, Boom, you said it best. It is up and down, peaks and troughs, like Jekyll and Hyde. You win some, you lose some. 1 month is going to be dreadful. Another month is going to be great. But bottom line, and this is the me coming through now, it's free. So enjoy it because it's just 4 new games that you wouldn't have had and you haven't had to pay for them.
Yeah, no, you are right. You are absolutely right. And I want to make a public service announcement because I feel, I am the first person to call myself as transparent as a piece of glass. I enjoy being that way for a lot of reasons. 1, it proves that I'm real. 2, it goes to show you that a real man will never will always admit when he is wrong and never hide that fact. So I did a story on my channel last week, and I made an announcement based on my analysis, no real, concrete information. I took a story from N4G and I ran with it about Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming into Game Pass. Now here's the thing: it's not in Game Pass, obviously, because we would have led with that. I still think it's coming. I still think that we're going to get an announcement right before it releases on the 14th of September, to all the retailers. But I'm going to just let you know, as of right now, I was completely wrong about that. But again, I still am holding my fingers crossed that we will eventually get it. And maybe because, for what we've seen recently, Microsoft has no problem of dropping games into Game Pass mid-month, adding to the already stout list. So fingers crossed that happens because that would be great. I really think that they need third-party bangers, if you will. And that would really put the exclamation point on why Game Pass is worth it. But, I want to move on to the next topic.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
One last thing. Can I just say, just to add to your point, and I made a quick little comment just then. But that is the difference between paying for a quality service and getting some stuff for free. Is it not?
Yeah,
Like,
yes, that is a great point. That is a really, really great point. Yes.
but no, that's literally it. I like, you know, even though we can all agree it'd be nice to have bangers every month, games with gold, but bottom line, for $9.99 a month, you're gonna get bangers all year round with
Pretty
Game Pass.
much. You know, you're 100% right.
That's all I got for you.
Hey, no, that's a great point. So what I want to do is some news broke yesterday that I find to be very interesting, and you know, we talked about custom consoles, and even though technically it's not custom, Microsoft on through Xbox Wire, through Windows Central, through Larry Herb's Twitter account, they announced the Robot White Xbox One X Fallout 76 bundle, but they didn't stop there. They also revealed the white special edition Xbox Elite controller. Now, for complete understanding, this is not V2. This is the standard Elite controller that you have either in the jet black or the Gears, which is the one that I have. This is just in a Robot White. But I'm going to be honest with you. Both of them look stunning in that. And they say Robot White. I think of it more like an Arctic White, in my opinion. But it looks stunning. I want to get your take on it. What do you think about these two reveals that just popped out on a Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon? Are you excited for these new, colors to the Xbox family?
I'm going to go about this at two angles. One, first impressions, to see an Xbox One X in white looks really nice. But that's as far as I go with that, because the way I see it, a white Xbox One X should have been available at launch anyway, in my opinion. The fact that they've, this is where honestly, I'm going to make, people are going to hate me by the end of this show. But this is why, like, this is the same thing I said about Gamescom. They had the off gold Xbox One X for like Battlefield 5. They had the off silver Xbox One X for Forza. They had the off blue, the off. Now they've got a white one for Fallout, but they've copped out and said, "Hello, this is the robot white Fallout white Xbox One X." It's like, fuck off, Microsoft. I honestly, man, I wave the green flag, but I'm calling them out. I think this is a huge cop out. The white Xbox One X could have definitely come out at launch. Maybe even a couple of months later than launch, but still, they didn't need to like smother it with this big announcement and try to tie it with Fallout. I just think that's a big cop out. For me, it's just another wasted opportunity to not do a custom console. So even though, like I said, and I don't take that back, the white Xbox One X looks stunning. But if I take a step back as someone who just appreciates the color and how it looks, and look at the angle in which they've announced it as a Fallout bundle, again, I'm going to say exactly what I said about Gamescom and all the bundles that were presented there. Wasted opportunity. It's just another bundle to the added list of bundles, and none of them are unique other than their, standard solid color.
Yes, I agree.
But then my third and last angle is, if we're talking about the Elite controller in and of itself, again, looks beautiful, a white Elite controller. But this is where I also increase the level of Welsh gamer haters. I find that unnecessary. Why didn't they just announce an expansion of the Xbox controller design labs where you can design your own Elite controller? You can have it white, blue, pink, purple, multicolored, bloody camo. Like, stop. Honestly, am I making any sense?
No, you're making perfect sense. Here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I am a fan of custom consoles. I am not a fan of just slapping a new color on a console. Even though I think the white is nice, I still like my jet black. I wouldn't trade. If somebody gave me a choice and said, "Boom, take the new white one, we'll take your old Scorpio edition away," I'd say, "No, thank you. I like the black color. I've always liked my consoles to be black. That's just how I am." But I am going to say this. You keep saying missed opportunities, and I want to add to what you have already put into a perfect sentence. They could have easily, and I mean easily did exactly what Sony did with the Star Wars bundle, which I think looks fantastic. When the Battlefront 2, Darth Vader edition came out, or the Star Wars or the other Star Wars edition where it was just the Rebel symbol. What was it? It was a sticker, right? But here's the thing. It looked really nice. They could have easily slapped on the cog that says Fallout 76 right in the middle of that console. And I'm going to say this right now. People would have been running in the streets, lighting cars on fire with excitement. No, I'm being serious. Because everyone that you talk to in the community and we're both very active. And I think that's really what stands a lot of the more popular YouTube guys, like Salty, for instance, very active with the community. And I think that's what the people want, and that's what the people deserve. I think, all the people I've spoken to about the custom console shenanigans, people would have went out and bought this console on 2 points. One, it was a new white Xbox One X that they probably wanted, and two, it had a Fallout 76 sticker on it, and it came with the game. I mean, what is your take on that, dude?
No, I totally agree. Bottom line, we're both saying the same thing. They could have just done more. Even if it was just, like you said, a sticker on the side. Like, people can point the finger at Sony and be like, ha ha, your Black Ops console was literally just a little sticker. Your Vader console was literally just a sticker. Your Nathan Drake console is simply just a sticker. Ha ha. But let's be fucking honest. It works. Simplicity is bliss.
Yeah, so yes, correct.
Take a fucking leaf from their book, man. I mean, like, people, I think a lot of people, even the more active ones, like you said, myself, you, Saltiest, and there are many, many more. And we're all very quick to call out Xbox. We don't just suck Xbox cock and move on. We
don't.
We still haven't. I just had a rant just then. We have no problem pulling them on stuff. And just a simple white Xbox One X for Fallout 76, in my opinion, is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Like you said, you said it best. Even if they don't want to go full, full on, like massive, like head to toe, completely custom, just chuck a sticker on there and they'll sell out in seconds. It's quite simple.
Yeah, you know what? I got one even better for you. We don't want to take too much time of this because it is just white controller, white system. But could you imagine if they would have made the Elite controller Fallout themed, where just threw a sticker and a cog on there and kind of like did up the box art for Fallout 76? Do you know that not only would that be the hottest collector's item since sliced bread, but it would sell out instantly, like literally instantly? I don't know. I mean, again, we can keep beating this horse. You know what it is? Listen, if you like the systems and you don't have an Xbox One X already, this might be a good time. If you do not have an Elite controller, and you were kind of holding out for the V2, which seems to be delayed, I've heard from the grapevine that it's production issues. If they're releasing the old Elite in a different color, I think it's safe to say that we're not getting the V2 in 2018. I'm okay with that. I want to segue that the not owning an Xbox One X into the confirmed Xbox All Access. That was officially confirmed this week. We all knew it. We all knew it was coming. The details were too precise for it to be a leak. I'm glad Microsoft got in front of this and made the official announcements. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because this has been beaten to death by many, many shows. But I want to talk to you and the chat about the positive and negatives. First of all, the positives are for $22 a month, you can get the Xbox One S and you can get Xbox Live as well as Xbox Game Pass, 2 years of each for $22 a month. And then for $35 a month or $34.99, you can get yourself a brand new Xbox One X with 2 years of Game Pass, 2 years of Xbox Live, and that is an amazing. Those are amazing deals. And I said this last night on Kid Smooth's show. I was a guest on his show, so thank him for that. Big shout out. That was a great panel, great conversation. One of the the things that stand out for this generation is there were a lot of Xbox 360 players that moved on to the PlayStation 4 for two reasons. One, price. $499 for the Xbox One at launch to Sony's $399. And more importantly, and this has been, it's been the running joke until the X came out, power. Ps, right? 1080Ps versus 900Ps, right? That 180Ps made a difference. So Sony, in their marketing genius, because I really give them props all the time, was able to really steal the thunder from Microsoft and kind of just win this generation just right out of the gate. So, for a lot of gamers, they have a huge digital library, so they're never going to abandon their PlayStation 4s, and I certainly don't blame them for that. But, one of the conversations that I get, get into with fans is that gaming obviously is an expensive hobby. And, a lot of gamers would love to support multiple consoles. Unfortunately, due to finances and, real life, like wives and husbands and children and mortgages and Con Ed bills and school loans, right? Those things get in the way of being a multi-plat owner. But this deal opens the door for people on a budget to afford to support multiple consoles. So that's the positive. So before we go into the negatives, I want to get your take on this, because obviously we were talking pre-game about, different life, right? We don't talk about games all the time. Drew and I are friends off the air. We talk about life, and, money is involved in that. And there are a lot of games that we just can't buy because life gets in the way. And we're okay with that. But this opens the door for people on a budget. Drew, what do you think about this? Regarding, offering the option to gamers to say, hey, you want an Xbox One X, you want 2 years of gold, you want 2 years of Game Pass, $35, here you go.
I think it's really good. I actually did a video about this on my channel.
Yes, you did. It was fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I gave it a lot of thought on like the goods and the bads at the end of my video. And the main thing to come from it is the fact that Xbox are looking into options for the little guy, the person who might not be able to afford. Like, I made the example, me, myself, like, I'm not rich by any means. I haven't got a lot of money to blow, but I had to save in advance for the Xbox One X, because you're talking 500 up front for the One X, then you're talking 500 minimum, sometimes more expensive for a 4K TV. Then you've got your monthly subscription for Xbox Live and all this stuff, and Xbox Game Pass, and then there's games to buy. I mean, there's all sorts of things you have to take into account when investing in an ecosystem. That goes for anything, not just Xbox. So if you're an individual who has just started getting interested in Xbox, or maybe just interested in gaming for the first time, or like you said, you have a PlayStation 4 or a Nintendo Switch or a PC, you're heavily invested in one of those systems, so you don't want to drop that for something else, but Xbox tickles your fancy. This is a great, affordable, budget entry option for anyone who it appeals to, whether it's a financial situation or I don't know, whatever the case, creating an added option. And I think it's phenomenal. And I think it's incredible. I think it's very good. I think it will, in fact, be successful. And I do think as well that this is my personal opinion, because I know they did the same thing with Design Labs with the controllers. But I do think a lot of people have been getting their ass in their hands about it being only in the US. But that's not abnormal for Microsoft to do that. I think they're literally demoing this whole strategy with the US, and if it be successful, I think it'll become more of a global deal when it opens up to more people all around the world. And I'm honestly certain that this is what they're doing this now to get the feelers out, because I think that this is what they're gonna do for the launch date of the Xbox Scarlet. I think they're gonna have a deal like this, like a 3-month window for people who want to do it on finance for $22 or $34 a month. And I think they're going to do this for the Scarlet launch as well. But I think it's great. Like, how can you really take a negative from this? The only negative I can think of is the fact that currently it's only in the US, but that's going to change.
Yes, you know what? That is a great point, and that, of course, is going to be one of the negatives. And there's listen, this was a hot topic on Twitter pre-confirmation about how this is stupid, this is dumb, this is a terrible idea, this is Microsoft throwing in the towel. But you heard some ridiculous nonsense from what I call the toxic Sony fanboys that basically ruined the community with their nonsense. Not all Sony players, because I know so many Sony players that are just complete gentlemen, very similar to how we are. And they like talking games. They don't talk nonsense. So let's just get that out the way, because you can't put everybody under an umbrella. Both communities have toxic pools that I would never dip a toe into. But the negatives for this, for me, and I think that this is something that has to be addressed by Microsoft at one point or another. Currently in the US, this program is limited to just this region. It has to expand if you want any traction. That's number one. Number two, it's only you can only walk into the Microsoft store and pick this up, and you get this through Dell financing. They've partnered with Dell. The problem is this: there are just a pinch over 100 stores in the US for the Microsoft store, and that's a big problem, because you're not being, this is this kind of a deal. If someone lives 3 states away, they're not going to drive 6 hours to get this deal. You understand what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. So
yeah. So even if you are in the States, you're quite limited on how you can do it anyway.
Listen, this is a soft launch. This is a dipping a toe into the pool before you dive in and freeze your balls off kind of a move. Microsoft, this took a lot of put together. This wasn't just kind of slopped together and just thrown out there. There was a lot of planning, and this is again a soft launch for what you were saying. When the Scarlett comes out, they're going to want more Scarletts in the home. They're going to want more of the cloud-based Scarlett in everyone's home, and being able to finance it for, because if the cloud-based Scarlett is only $150 and they offer that through finance, what are you going to pay a month? $5? $10, right? So they're setting the future up, so you can't argue with that. But I do admit they're going to have to open this up to more places, giving people the opportunity to get involved with this. My take on this, Drew, is maybe teaming up with someone like Sprint. You know how there's a Sprint store at every corner of every mall in the history of life? Well, yeah. If you team up with Sprint, they do the credit checks. If you walk in there and you have creditors chasing you down, you're not going to get it. And that goes for a phone or for a new Xbox. But if they teamed up with Sprint, it would literally open the floodgates for people all over the US, and possibly now move this on to other countries, other regions, to take a part of this deal. What is your take on that?
Well, I'm not actually familiar what Sprint is. I don't think we have that over here.
Okay, so it's basically a phone carrier service that we have. What is your major phone carrier service in the UK?
Well, I'm glad you said phone carrier service, because I think the main one over here is called Car Phone Warehouse. And I was actually going to say, I shit you not, Boom, that would be a great way to do it globally. Is like a Car Phone Warehouse. I don't know if they have Car Phone Warehouse, but essentially, like, they could do it in deals, like pay for this phone X amount, this, that, and the other, and you can get 10% off this finance deal with the Xbox One X or something like that. They could do it like that. There's so many ways you could go around it. But no, I completely agree. A phone carrier service, like something that's like hitting the worldwide scope, that's a good idea.
You're absolutely, I'm glad you agree, because I think it would open up the door for other people to find it easier to take advantage of this deal, because this deal is fantastic. There's no way you can slice this and say that this is not pro-consumer.
But the thing is, Boom, people already are. Do you know what I read on Twitter the other day? Not the other day, yesterday. Some idiotic pony whose name shall not be named, shall not be mentioned, said, Oh, too bad I have to give them all my information. They even want to know my daughter's name. Like, that's how bloody stupid this guy and low this guy was going. All I said to the guy, I didn't rise to it. I very rarely anymore get into arguments on Twitter because I find it pathetic. But I just simply said to the guy, like, I dare you to buy a TV, a cooker, a refrigerator, a car. Honestly, I said, take your pick, mate. I want you to try and get any one of those items I mentioned on a finance deal, and you not get asked about your credit rating and all the stuff they need to know. No businessman, wherever you live in the world, will ever do a direct debit finance deal with your bank account unless they can guarantee you're going to pay that bill. They're not going to do it. So people are just reaching, man. They're picking holes in Microsoft strategy already, going like, oh, but they want to know everything. They want to know my mother's maiden name. They want to know. It's like, fucking hell. That's just routine questions for when it comes to like, finding out if you're an eligible and consistent and trustworthy payer for a service. That's just how it works.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You said it. Go buy a car. They want information. Go buy a new television from Best Buy or wherever you buy your electronics. They're going to want information. It's the same thing.
Honestly, it is. It's the same thing. But because Xbox are doing it, as always, it just attracts the dirty pony fingers.
Yeah, it does. Well, listen. You know what? Like I said, we've talked about this. We've given our thoughts. I wanna talk about something that's impressive. If you are an Xbox One X owner, you know that there is an advantage that you get as a gamer for enhanced titles. And one of the biggest takeaways from Gamescom 2018 was Capcom's Devil May Cry 5. It blew actual gameplay, blew everyone's eyeballs out of their heads. It literally knocked me off my seat. I could not believe what I was seeing. This is the proper Dante that we all know and love. Nero was in complete action from top to finish. Destructible backgrounds, giant monsters, new powers. It looked amazing. But see, that's not where the goodness stopped. It has been confirmed by Capcom that Devil May Cry 5 will run at 4K 60 FPS on the Xbox One X. Let's talk about this, dude. What is your take away from this?
Well, my take is it's bitter. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I very much love contradicting ponies and haters and just about anyone out there who wants to put Xbox and Microsoft under a bad light when they're in fact doing something good and doing something well and done a job well done. And basically, like, once upon a time, Xbox One came out. It was 900p, the 720p box. You heard all the names, and the hate it got for the lack of power and not producing top tier graphic performance. The answer to that outcry from the lovers and the haters was, in fact, the Xbox One X, a machine that anyone who owns it could honestly say you are not going backwards. It is one of those machines. It is like an anchor that stops your ship. You are just boom there. Gaming has never been so sweet, and that's just the bottom line. And for Devil May, go on, Boom.
No. Keep going. It's perfectly fine.
I was just going to say, for Devil May Cry 5 to now, be confirmed that it's 4K 60, it just says a lot about the power of the X and gets me even more excited again for like what the future holds for Xbox hardware, because Phil Spencer and team have already come forward and said we will never be outgunned in hardware again. And just to put the icing on this cake, the amount of people, mainly the flip-flopping ponies of the community, who would point the finger and be like, yeah, but it's not all about power, even though Sony ponies made it about power for about 4 years until the X was released. And then when there was like 1 or 2 games that was like 4K 30 or dynamic 4K, you had those same ponies going, ha, you can't even do 4K, even though there's been plenty of games 4K. And now we've got a game, Devil May Cry 5, a big hit in AAA, third-party development, by Capcom, one of the biggest games coming out. Like, a lot of people are looking forward to this game. I'll even be honest, like I said in the last show, Boom, a game that I wasn't originally looking at has actually taken my fancy. It looks phenomenal, and it has been announced and confirmed to be 4K 60. It's just amazing. Speaks volumes about the hardware, speaks volumes about the quality, speaks volumes about the future of Xbox in terms of the platform and where they're going. And it just makes me realize that, like, if games are already if a lot of these games are already hitting 4K, and in this case 4K 60, it just gets me wondering what we have in store for, like, the next hardware, like the next generation. I don't like to look too far forward too often, but
No, I get it.
you can't help but wonder. Like, if you ask me, the Xbox Scarlet is going to be hitting 4K 60 standard with just about every game, and who knows what the next level above that is. Maybe the odd game 4K 90. I'm just throwing a random number out there, but this is incredible news. And if you are a Devil May Cry fan, like, get excited, because the Xbox One X is no joke. And when a game complements the system, it just makes your purchase feel even more worth it.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? I'm going to use what you were talking about and segue, this is great, into face-melting graphics. And what am I talking about? The Halo Master Chief Collection 4K HDR update is live. Now, I've put about 3+ hours into this, playing one of my favorite Halos, Halo 3. And I have to say, listen, the game came out in 2014. And I said this last night on Kid Smooth's show. 343 could have easily put their hands up and walked away from this because it launched as a mess. But they didn't. They put their heads down, they took their lumps, and now these 5 games are running in a way that no one ever thought you'd be able to see. Now, I have seen both still pictures of this from the community, which keep those pictures coming. Keep posting these pictures. The community has been on fire posting these stills, sometimes 4 at a clip. And when you see these shots of Master Chief, Cortana, just different parts of the world, it makes you wonder what the next Halo is going to look like. I want to get your take, dude. I know you've been playing it. What are your takeaways from this incredible update to this game that's 4 years old?
It's amazing, man. Nothing short of excellent. Once again, for me, just absolutely proves that 343 Industries are, in fact, the number one, best guys for the job when it concerns Halo and its development. You can tell that the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this 4K patch, with all the months previous of the Insider program leading up to this moment, and having played it myself, it is just like having a gigantic, like, full-blown, like, spanning from the first Halo ever made all the way to, like, Halo 4 and Halo ODST. It is like having the demo of demos, the ultimate insider look at where they're going when it comes to, like, Halo Infinite, because you can tell, like, they must have just hit, gone on the round table with their notepads and their bright spark ideas and just said to themselves, right, we know Halo 6 is coming, Halo Infinite,
Yes.
we know what we want that game to look like. We know we want it to be 4K. We know we want it to be 60. We know we know how high we're aiming for this game. But we need to give the gamers something to soak their thirst. We need to give them something to taste on. We need something for them to chew on while they wait for this incredible, incredible game. And they literally must have just gone from the off, like, right, well, we've got Halo ODST, we've got Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4. We've got all these games on one disc, but we've done nothing really with it. Like, let's build on this. And the hard work has paid off, Boom. I've played the night of the patch, me, Microbox of X, my friend Fellows, one of my other friends, Chief from the States. We got a good party together and we just played Slayer on Halo 3. And we played Halo 4, a lot of Halo 4 in glorious 4K 60, may I add. It is buttery buttery smooth, like so smooth. I felt like I was swimming in Chief's gun. It was like so smooth, incredible. I could rab it on. It just, you can tell they put their heart and soul into this, and the reason why they've done it is simple. They want literally people to see if this is what they can do. If they can rebirth a game that came out on the original Xbox way back when, if they can rebirth that game in 4K 60, what the pardon my language, Booms, I'm going in.
Okay, go for it.
What the fucking hell does Halo Infinite look like?
Listen, I don't know. I'm going to say this. You know, I know that the running joke is, oh, you know, Microsoft doesn't have any, you know, new games coming out, so they have to, you know, keep bringing back the old goodies. Here's the thing. When you look at what they did on the entire, and we're not just talking about a level, we're not talking about Master Chief's toe, we're talking about the entire game scrubbed from top to bottom, you know, Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and ODST, 4K, 60 frames, HDR out the yin yang. It's a new game. And there are some people, believe it or not, that have never played through all of those Halo games. So now is a great time. You know, obviously the update was free. It is now in Game Pass. Another, you know, another reason to get the service. But you know what was also confirmed by 343? They are playing around with the idea of going back and bringing us the one game that's not in there, the one game that everyone, including myself, have been begging for, and that is Halo Reach, and giving it the 4K 60 treatment, releasing it very similar to all of the other games. What is your take on that? If they bring that and dump that in there, because that's going to be a free game. If you have the Master Chief Collection, it's just going to be added for free, and it appears that they're really considering this. Do you think that they should do it? And one, would you play through it again in 4K 60?
I have three things to say. One, there is no if, but, or maybe on this, Boom. Okay? No if, but, or maybe. I'm telling you for a fact, Reach is coming.
Okay, great.
Number two, yes, I will in fact be playing it, especially Invasion mode on the multiplayer, because that to date is probably one of my favorite game types in Halo history. And three, what you touched on before you segued into Reach, when you said that, like, because I didn't even think of this, but it's so true. This whole 4K update isn't just for the gamer who's played all the Halos and wants to revisit in a better light. This is also, like you said, for the people who've never played Halo before. So what a better time to get into Halo. And Reach is coming. So now you're going to have Halo 1, 2, 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo 4. You have Halo Reach, in fact, coming. And then you also have Halo 5, which is separate. But what I'm getting at is you will have all of the Halo games at arm's length in 4K, ready to chew on, ready for Halo Infinite. It's no better time to be a gamer, man. It's no better time to be a Halo fan. And I can't wait to see Reach in 4K, because that game holds up, man. I was literally just playing that the other day. And,
wow.
And, like, you know, I put my disc in, and me and Chief were playing it. And incredible, man. Incredible. That game literally melts eyes now, and it holds up. So imagine with the 4K update. Yeah. I'll definitely be playing that game. Like I said, I don't know if you ever played Invasion, the game type on the multiplayer, but it was incredible, and the firefight was brilliant as well.
Firefight was my favorite part. I don't, you know, it's been a while, so I haven't popped that disc in, so I don't remember Invasion, but I really loved their multiplayer. I think it was the groundwork for what we're playing today.
No, absolutely. And I didn't mean to like point the finger and talk to you like a disobedient child. But
absolutely not, my friend. Absolutely not.
But there is no ifs or buts. Believe you me, everyone in the chat, Halo Reach is coming. It is coming.
It is. It is, because it's the last one that has to get in there, and they're not going to do that to the fans. But you know what? I'm going to segue into a statement from Aaron Greenberg, who when he talks, I stop and listen. I like Aaron. I think he's a funny dude. I like that he shows off his sneaker collection. I like how interactive he is with the fans. I've talked with Aaron personally through DM on a situation that he helped me out with personally. He is as awesome as an Xbox person could be. But he made a bold statement, and I want to read it, and I want us to discuss this. It says in the article, Aaron Greenberg makes a bold statement on the Xbox players being a more mature and hardcore fan base than any other platform. He also talks about the attach rate being higher with Xbox gamers, and according to Ubisoft, Xbox players are spending more. Now let's discuss this for a second, okay? Because, you know, when you talk about popularity, the PlayStation wins that in spades. They are the popular system. So when you have the popular system, what you have in tow are casual gamers and the kid factor. And with the kid factor, this is where a lot of the toxicity comes from, because, you know, I'm 47, right? A lot of the Xbox players are in their 30s, right? So when you see someone, you know, ranting on Twitter with no commas and, you know, and all caps, you can understand that there's a maturity difference. Now, I'm not saying this for everyone. I know plenty of PlayStation owners that are mature like me that don't get in the middle of this shenanigans. But that's a big statement from Aaron Greenberg, and they have the actual digital facts to say that Xbox gamers are spending more money. And when you see Xbox gamers spending more money, that equals adulthood, right? The 15-year-olds are not going out and buying a $60 PS4 game, right? The 17-year-old barely could, you know, hold a job, let alone be able to, you know, buy, you know, all of these games that we're always buying. I want to get your take on this. What do you think about his statement?
What specifically now when he says the fan base is more hardcore?
Yes.
I think, while bold, and some could argue subjective and maybe a little bias, I wouldn't even shut anyone down for maybe assuming that it was, because end of the day, it's Aaron Greenberg and he does work for Microsoft. But as a gamer, and yes, I wave the green flag, but I don't mind stepping in on the devil's advocate side of things, and I don't mind sitting on the fence and looking at both angles. I'm being honest. I think, while bold, it's very accurate. I mean, I could come at this at a few angles. Like, you've got like, for me, the Xbox platform. When I think of Xbox, I think of the hardcore multiplayer era, you know, realm of gaming. I can't think of what. Maybe correct me, but I can't think of one exclusive title to the PlayStation that is currently in any kind of MLG or esports competition. Whereas you've got Halo 5 and Gears 4 just as perfect examples. You know, that to me says hardcore versus like the more casual, chilled out gamer. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying PlayStation gamers are casuals or whatever, and that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that they have more chilled out, single player, chiller, 6-hour, 8-hour campaign, storyline, single player only, whatever games. And that's pretty much their bread and butter. Whereas Xbox is more for the hardcore multiplayer fanatic. And, you know, that's one angle I can look at it from. Another is the library. Like, Xbox, for me, has a lot of, like, obviously it has a lot of games that appeal to youngsters. But if we're talking hardcore and mature fan base in terms of, like, age, and not so much age as in, like, oh, you're 18, so you can't really play this or whatever. I'm on about, like, showing your age, like, you know, acting your age to an extent or whatever, or being quite adult in the sense that, like, what you go for. Like, PlayStation, like, bloody hell, like, some of their games are just the wackiest things I've ever seen. Like, you've got, like, bloody Asian girls in bikinis squirting each other with water pistols. You know, and, you know, I call it boobs of war, because that's basically their Gears of War. You know, like, if you ask me, that caters to more the quirky, childish nature or whatever, or some weirdo in his basement wanking into a sock. I don't know. But then you've got, like, you know, if we're talking like the Nintendo as well, like, you've got your Mario and your Zelda, while beautiful games and great games, successful to this day and have been around forever. You know, when you compare that to Quantum Break, Gears of War, Rise, Son of Rome, Halo, Forza, Fable, Sunset Overdrive, there's no comparison in what's the more hardcore and mature audience that they're aiming for. Clearly, the Xbox takes that one as well. So that's two angles already, and then the last angle I can give to you is Twitter. I mean, I'm not going to say that I haven't seen Xbox fanboys who have let themselves down and let the whole team down, basically, and made us all look like idiots.
Yes.
But on a daily basis, I see far more Sony ponies ranting and raving, making out, just making mockery. Like frankly, like they just make themselves and the PlayStation community look more and more dull by the day. And that's just the truth. There are, like you said, Boom, and it's true, a lot of level-headed PlayStation fans who I have a lot of respect for. There's one in the chat that I've seen numerous times, Ice Queen Gaming. If they were all like her, it'd be better. It'd be better off. But unfortunately, it's not the case. And, you know, there's even a few names in the community, though, while I will not name them because I'm not a namer or a shamer, who claim to be even like, you know, in the middle, and they claim, you know, they rep PlayStation. They claim to be these nice people who don't like have a preference. But then the second you mention one thing against PlayStation, they're biting your head off and they're making themselves look like morons. I can literally name 10 people for you right now, Boom, but I do not want this show to be about that. So I'm not going to say the names of said people, but there are plenty of them. And that, again, just shows maturity level, because I know plenty of Xbox people in the same limelight, the same level of decree when it comes to this YouTube stuff and this Twitter community. And I don't see any of these Xbox guys lowering that kind of tone. It only seems to be the PlayStation guys. So I think Aaron Greenberg, I've hit it at a few angles, man. When you gave me this topic, I gave it a good look. I was on Twitter for about an hour making notes, and I just have to be honest. While very bold, I completely agree, and I hope that my rant just then kind of backs up what I'm saying. I'm not just saying it as a cold-hearted bloody Xbox fanboy. I'm saying it because I feel it's true.
Well, you know what? I can't argue with that, dude. I think you knocked it out of the park. I don't even think I can have a comeback. I'm going to say this. You know, people think that because you are behind a keyboard and no one knows who you are, that you could say things, sometimes really horrible things. Understand that what you put out there is out there forever. So be nice with one another. You don't have to fly the same flag to treat people in a proper manner. Let's understand that right from the get-go. I don't care whether you're a Sony fan. I don't care you're a Nintendo fan. I don't care if you're an Xbox fan. Hell, I don't even care if you hate all three and you're a PC guy or girl. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And you know what? This community could thrive. And you know what? With the few hiccups that we've had, you know, in the last couple of years with the nastiness, I think there's more goodness that goes on. But you know what? I am going to end today's show on that topic. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire chat. Once again, UK Dazaris, moderator of the universe, who is the gunslinger and my personal sheriff for the chat. He always keeps it, runs a tight ship. He's a gentleman. He's my brother. And I cannot thank him enough for that. The chat, I love you guys. I really have to say that I appreciate you come out here and you support this channel. You support me and the Welsh Gamer on this new adventure. And we wouldn't have a show to put on every Thursday if it wasn't for people like you coming into the chat and interacting with us and with one another. Once again, Drew, I want to thank you. We have become really, really good friends. I've said this numerous times that it has been an absolute pleasure to start this venture with you. But you know what? More importantly than this particular show, you have your own show. And I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. If you're not subscribed to the Welsh Gamer, you're making yourself a big mistake. The Dragon X podcast that he runs is phenomenal. It is his panel of the panel members are fantastic. They're well versed in gaming. But Drew really puts on a good show. He goes out of his way to make sure that the content is crisp and proper. So please give him a follow. But you know what, Drew? Before you go, tell everyone where they could follow you on Twitter and what the Dragon X podcast is all about.
No, cheers, Boom. And once again, like absolutely had a blast doing this. I've been really enjoying this. I look forward to it every week. But as for where you can find me on YouTube, The Welsh Gamer, 3 words. On Twitter, at The Welsh Gamer 93, 1 word. And as for the Dragon X podcast, we have one on tonight. It's every other Thursday, but tonight is the night we have another show, episode 19. Our guests, Saltiest Gaming and Elite Gaming Guru. We go live in 2 hours, which is 7 p.m. BST or 2 p.m. EST, wherever you are in the world. And we have a great show. The Dragon X podcast with my buddies Microbox of X and E-Rock X. Go to their channels as well. We pull no punches, and we always have a good time. That's all I got. That's all I got for you guys. Take it back, Boom.
All right. Well, listen. Once again, I look forward to bringing you next week's Xbox Factor podcast, episode number 4. Tomorrow morning's Breakfast with Boom will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest list is stacked. I'm going to have the Mooch from MNC Mornings, the Saltiest Gamer from the Saltiest Gaming podcast. I'm going to have Eve, Primal Eve from the Game Dosage podcast, and Fuzzy Belvedere, who I've been dying to get on the show, who was a official panel member of the Dazcast, which unfortunately has been put on hold for a bit. That's going to be tomorrow morning. The topics are going to be hot button as usual. And I hope everyone shows up again in the chat for that. I want to say this, the super chats that I've received recently are helping the channel grow. I want to do more giveaways. So if you do donate, know that it's not for me to put money in my pocket. It is, of course, to give more stuff away in the chat when I do these live shows. So thank you for everyone that has donated. And I want to end the show with that. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Thanks again for coming out. And we'll see you next week on episode 4 of the Xbox Factor podcast.